Hey there guys, Aldershot here, and we're going to continue with our Let's Play of Lichdom Battlemage, but this is sort of a special edition episode because we're mainly going to be focused around talking about my experience with Xaviant during their Dev Day events, which they were so courteous enough to fly me over to Atlanta and feed me and fly me back. So that was pretty awesome and quite an experience. I really enjoyed my time there. They were really cool dudes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. But also, Lichdom has released a new update for their game. They called it Pre-Alpha 2, so you still can get this game at $20 on Steam if you haven't already. Now, once it leaves pre-alpha and hits alpha, the price will increase, so do keep that in mind. Some of the main differences between the previous versions and this version is the first one you're going to notice is that there's going to be opening cinematics as well as the tutorial level. Now we're going to skip as much of this cinematic as possible because we don't want to overextend this video to be like an hour long. That's really going to be my goal, and we do have a lot of things to talk about, so I will probably be talking over some of the story elements of the game as well. And by the way, there's voice acting now, which is pretty awesome actually. One of the new voice actors is Jennifer Hale. Quite a name drop because she's pretty famous around the voice acting community. She's done a lot of different games in the past, I think including Metal Gear. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was Naomi Campbell. I'm pretty sure she was Naomi Campbell. I could be wrong, but again, she's done a lot of work in the games and the animation industry, as well as movies and TV shows as well. But anyways, that's enough about that. Let's actually get into the game. Now, one thing about the new update is that it comes with a save wipe, unfortunately. So we do have to start with a new game. Alright. So we're going to skip this. This is just Michael McMahon talking about his philosophy on Lichdom, as well as, you know, their design mindset when, you know, putting together Lichdom and stuff like that. You know, if you got Lichdom, you can view it yourself. If you haven't, then buy the game, then you can view it. We're gonna skip it again just for the sake of kind of saving time on this recording here. But as I was saying, yeah, a lot of differences. New voice acting, which is pretty incredible. Well, we will take a look at the initial cinematic though, just to give you an example of its quality, which is quite high, I think.
Everything decays. Society rises up, only to be torn down by petty greed and the thirst for power. Absolute power.
So there you go, a little example of the opening cinematic. This is Roth, which is basically your mentor mage, I guess, who gives you your powers. Now this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool part. This is one of the biggest differences between the pre-alpha 1 and pre-alpha 2 is that you can actually select your character now. You can go through the story with either the male character or the female character. Now our last playthrough, we played through the male character because, well, we were kind of forced into it. So this time let's play with the female character, and this is voiced by Jennifer Hale. And they were talking about the differences between the two characters. Now, they're going to be the same fundamentally as far as mechanics go, but the story and commentary and all that stuff is going to be quite different. They both show different personalities. They're not going to be just reading from the same line of dialogue, except with female and male voices. They have their own personalities, their own dialogue, which is actually pretty cool. I do appreciate that for sure.
Tell me I didn't steal these from anyone.
That's definitely going to add some replayability to this game as well, just to kind of see what each character would say and do in the given situation. All right.
Leave us. Oh, she's all yours.
All right. So that used to be us, but now we're the female character.
You were lost.
All right, so let's kind of talk about.
To strike back
Whoops,
against
I don't know
the
what's going on there.
everything from
All right, so let's kind of talk about what happened. Let's talk about Dev Day first before we actually get into some of the new additions to Pre-Alpha 2. It's better exemplified after this tutorial level anyways. You can kind of just watch the footage and kind of see the difference anyways. In fact, this whole area is completely different. This is a completely new area from Pre-Alpha 1. This wasn't in Pre-Alpha 1 at all. This is absolutely new and done quite a good job at designing this town, that's for sure. Something I didn't mention in the impression video of Lichdom is that they actually put a lot of work into the lighting of this game. It looks freaking fantastic, besides the model and texture quality, which is quite high. I didn't actually mention the lighting quality, which is also quite high. I do hope that they can keep that fidelity level at top shelf level. I'm sure they will. It's definitely going to be one of the main attractions to Lichdom for sure. Its visual aesthetics is quite beautiful. And they're definitely aiming very, very high as far as aesthetics go. Setting the bar and all that. Alright, so Dev Day, yeah, it was pretty cool. They invited me to their studio in Atlanta. It was all expenses paid. They were courteous enough to pay for my flight in and flight out. They kind of showed me around the studio, talked about the game, and fed me a very, very delicious meal. Fed me very, very delicious meals, I should say. Alright. But let's get into specifics here. So I kind of arrived in Atlanta the day before. Lichdom was pretty late, so I never really got to see the other guys. Paul the Second Coming, as he like to be called. Excuse me, a bit of a hiccup there. As well as Munchie, I believe that's his name. He's a fellow Lichdom community member from Belgium, originally from Poland. Really cool guy. Alright, and as well as Ars Arcanum, who is the first Paul. And then there's me, of course, little old me. So I met him on day 2, essentially. Day 1 was really just flying and kind of sleeping. So in the beginning of this tutorial level, it is going to show you some tutorial videos to help you get accustomed to the game. But we already know how to play the game, so we're going to skip that. But that is going to be a new feature, alright. But anyways, yeah, so I got to Atlanta the second day. I met the guys. We were waiting in the hotel lobby. We were all waiting there. We didn't realize who we were. We didn't know, you know, who's who, so we didn't really speak much when we initially met, because we never actually initially met until one of the Lichdom devs, Jamie, I believe is her name. She went to get us, and then we were all sitting in the lobby, and then we realized, hey, we were already all together and didn't even realize it. I had assumptions, but I didn't approach anybody about it because I didn't know if they were actually part of the Lichdom Dev Day thing. But yeah, we all met. It was pretty cool. Paul the Second Coming, as he liked to be called. He's from Texas. Pretty cool guy, actually. He has a lot of really great thoughts on video gaming. He's definitely a genuine lover of all things gaming. Really cool guy. He definitely has his opinions, as I do as well. We don't always match. We don't always agree on certain points. But he's a cool dude because he knows how to debate. He knows how to put his points, make his points across without being hostile or being offended or anything like that. We had awesome conversations, me and Paul Second Coming. I actually really enjoyed meeting that dude and having him in my company and all that stuff. And then there was Munchie, who was also waiting in the lobby with us. He's a really nice guy as well. He's again from Belgium, and he is exceptional at Lichdom. I think he went by Las Vitos or something, or no, I think no. He was Extinox or something like that. He put videos up on Lichdom. I'll put a couple links in the description about his videos and stuff like that, so you can take a look at it. But he's really, really good at this game. Really well. Paul Second Coming is really good too, but he's really good as well. I was really happy to meet him as well. He's a really nice guy, and we had nice conversations about the game and other games as well. So we'll skip this. All right.
will defeat your enemies from
But yeah, it was really awesome meeting those guys. I never really met Ars Arcanum until we actually reached the studio. His name was also Paul. He actually lives in the area in Georgia, and he's been into the studio before. It seems like the Xaviant guys and Paul the First, I guess you can call him. It seems like they already have a previous relation. I think he was a beta tester for the guys, but he's a really good fella as well. We had nice conversations along with the other guys, and he had a lot of insight to this game because he's been kind of playing Lichdom before it even hit Steam. So it was really cool meeting him. All the guys that was part of Lichdom Dev Day, awesome dudes, awesome dudes, genuine gamers, real love for the culture. So, you know, you guys ever see him around the forums, I definitely promote you guys to say hi to him. They can definitely help you out with your game. They're quite fantastic at Lichdom, way better than I am, admittedly. So I think if you guys, you know, if you guys check them out a little bit, you know, talk to them on the forums, I'm sure you can learn quite a bit about this game as I have. Alright, so yeah, there we go. We kind of met the guys there, and then once we all actually got together, we actually, you know, took a little tour around the studio. They gave us t-shirts, which is pretty awesome. Hopefully I remember to bring it back. I haven't really unpacked yet because I'm just lazy like that, but yeah, they gave us all t-shirts, which is pretty cool. And then we had a little tour of the studio. They definitely are well geared for sure. They have all the necessary equipment to make games. We met Michael McMahon, which is a really awesome name, by the way. It reminds me of Vince McMahon from WWF, and back in the day, I was a big WWF fan. That's instantly the first thing I thought of when I heard his name. So I thought I'd mention it here. But anyways, we met Michael McMahon. He's the CEO and head designer for Lichdom. Definitely a very genuine guy. All right. He seemed to, you know, like, he wasn't overly formal. He didn't put on like this. He didn't fake his personality when we met him. That's what I'm trying to say. He was genuinely, he seemed like he was just being himself, you know, curse words and all, and I got no problems with that whatsoever. So it was awesome meeting him, and you can see a lot of passion from that guy and from the entire dev team itself, actually. So we kind of talked to him a little bit about the game. We sort of just talked about Lichdom and our thoughts, but then we quickly jumped into doing a live Twitch of this current build that we're playing now a few days ago, just as an early preview. And I'll throw the link to that Twitch as well in the description so you guys can check that out. There will be a face cam of me playing, so it'll be an opportunity to see what I actually look like, I suppose. Alright, so there you go. That was pretty cool. We first watched Michael McMahon sort of play the game, give us an example of the new, we're going to skip this, of the new update and all that, and then it was our turn to stream, and we kind of had a 4-camera sort of setup on the Twitch stream so you can see what everybody was doing. So that was really fun. I got super hooked into the new updates. Actually, they called for a break to lunch, and I was still playing. I didn't want to give up on the game. It was Munchie who tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, dude, you should stop playing. We're going to lunch." I was like, "What?" But I just killed the first boss. I want to keep going. All right. So that was pretty cool. That was quite an experience. We got to interact with the Twitch community a little bit. We talked to a whole bunch of the other devs as well. Oh god, I forgot a lot of people's names already, so forgive me for that. I'm really sorry about that, but it was a really good experience. We met a whole bunch of people from Lichdom. We pretty much met the entire team, especially the more senior parts of Xaviant and stuff like that, and they were all really nice and shared their thoughts with us and kind of talked about the community and all that. Alright, so that was really awesome. And then afterwards they took us to lunch, where we had a nice burger and fries meal at this fancy kind of pub place almost that was really, really close to the studio, somewhere that they kind of hang out during lunchtimes and breaks and all of that. Delicious burgers, very, very good. They had Cajun fries, I think, and that was really good as well. Let me tell you, American cuisine is friggin' fantastic. That's all I've got to say. I think Paul the Second Coming made a point where he said there's a reason why Americans are stereotyped to be fat, and the reason being is because their food is so good, and man, I can't agree more. American food is fantastic. Now, I'm a Canadian, alright, and we got our own little bits of cuisine here and there and all that stuff. We have poutines, alright, so that's kind of an up, but yeah, American food, so good. So good. I almost want to be American just for the sake of eating all their delicious foods. So that was pretty good. But yeah, we went back to the studio afterwards and talked a little bit more about the game. And then we had the opportunity to kind of get together and design a new spell for Lichdom. We got into a meeting room and start talking about our thoughts on what the new lightning spell that they're going to put in on their next update should be. And that was really awesome. We got to play game developer for like an hour, and all four of us all just sort of sat around and kind of talked about what we would like to see from Lightning. I made the suggestion that it would be cool if Lightning's passive ability was to kind of group mobs together, because ice does freezing, fire does dots, contagion does almost like disease spreading. I don't know how to explain it, but contagion is pretty cool as well. So each spell element in this game kind of has their own unique passive ability, and besides chaining from one enemy to another, I felt that this game could really use some grouping mechanics, kind of like what you'll see in Diablo 3 or other popular action not MMOs, but popular action RPGs. And they took down some notes, and they thought it might be a good idea. I think they said they're going to try it out. The other guys from the community also made their suggestions as well. A lot of them talked about chaining, the lightning from one enemy to another. Some talked about having faster chains when there's more people around and all that sort of stuff. So definitely a couple of cool mechanical suggestions, and yeah, that was really cool that we were able to kind of help them design the new spell that's coming our way. I'm really excited to see how that's going to shape up, how much of our suggestions is actually going to make it into the final version. Michael McMahon said that though they might not design the spell exactly as we kind of described it as a group, he pretty much promised us, or at least mentioned that a majority of our suggestions will probably be seen in the lightning spells. So that's pretty awesome. Really excited for the next update already, just to see what kind of effect our dev day at Lichdom is going to have on this game. And one thing I gotta mention is that it seems like the developers are taking a lot of cues from the latest update and expansion from Diablo 3. It seems like a large portion of that team plays Diablo 3, and they all seem to really love the new update, as I have as well. It's one thing that they mentioned that they really, really like about the new Diablo 3 update is that it's the legendary drops are a lot more plentiful. It's a lot more rewarding, and it feels like you're progressing as a player a lot more when you're actually playing through the game. So they seem to be kind of taking some inspirations from that. Now, as I play through this kind of early part of this game, you might start seeing me picking up some rare sigils than previously, and I think they kind of took that from the latest Diablo 3 expansion. They also kind of talked about implementing you know, really sigil specific or legendary sigils that will have its own signature stats, much like Diablo 3's legendary system, where legendary drops will have signature stats that will change the way you play the game significantly, and they kind of talked about that quite a bit. So that's probably going to be seen, not in this update, but in the next update. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. I asked him a question about how the end game is going to be shaping up for Lichdom, because that was definitely one of my main concerns for the game, was that after you play through the story mode, what is the incentive to come back and play it? Well, they confirmed that they are going to add Game Plus mode, and maybe even Game Plus Plus mode, kind of like Dark Souls or Demon Souls or whatever you want to call it, as incentive to play through the game again. So you'll have all your upgraded sigils, and you'll be able to play through the story again in a harder difficulty. So that should definitely help things with the end game. I also made the suggestion of putting in an arena mode. And also, since they're taking a few cues from Diablo 3, one of the coolest things about Diablo 3 pre-Update 2 was the Uber runs, where you had to fight 2 uberly hard bosses at once. And I thought maybe Lichdom can do something like that. And though they never confirmed it, they did kind of nod and wink, let's just say. So I'm pretty excited to see where they're going to take that, especially at the once they complete the game and once we get a better idea of what the end game of Lichdom actually will be. So that's actually pretty cool. So okay, besides the whole Dev Day at Lichdom thing, let's talk a little bit about some of the newest updates. So one of the biggest differences that I really love about this new update is the new blink ability. As you can see, it's instantaneous. It doesn't stop time anymore. And there's actually multiple charges. The first charge will do an elemental. The second charge will do more damage. It will do higher chance of crits and all that stuff. So that's actually pretty cool. And you can actually just press it once to do a regular blink. However, it won't do a Nova, so do keep that in mind. Alright, so that's a really cool new addition. I definitely like it a lot more. I feel it's to be a lot more balanced, and the best thing is there's no more screen distortion, which was one of the biggest complaints I've seen about the game. So they've definitely taken care of that, and it really goes to show that they are listening to community feedback. So again, as I mentioned multiple times throughout my Lichdom videos, if you guys have any thoughts or comments about the game, do mention it on the Steam forums, because they are actively looking at their community page on Steam as sort of a HUD of feedback, and they are really hungry for player feedback. They really honestly want to improve the game based on their community, based on what people are saying about it. So they want to involve the players in the development cycle of this game as much as possible. And because of that, and because of how active they are on their community page, I really feel like the Xaviant team is truly using the early access program on Steam correctly. They're not using it as just as a excuse for whenever people have a complaint about early access games, which I do feel a lot of early access games on Steam kind of use it for, is a sort of a veil or a wall to almost hide behind whenever people make complaints about their game, which is a bit unfortunate. It's a bit of a misuse of the program in my opinion, but these guys are not doing that. They are definitely genuinely using the early access program as it's originally intended.
Did you see that?
So as you can see, we are collecting more rare loot almost right off the bat, really early into the game. So yeah, they're definitely you know, throwing in more player satisfaction into the game, I guess you can say. Alright, what's going on here?
Let's continue our search.
Okay, so we got a loot room here, so we're gonna play through this. But as I was saying, a few new of the updates, more drops, as well as you know, better drops. And the new blink feature is amazing. They also tweaked around with some of the spells, which we probably won't be able to explore quite yet, because, you know, we're still in the really early parts of the game. We will once we catch up to where we were in Lichdom. We're not going to continue our Let's Play series after this video until we get back to the snowy area after the first boss, just so we're not repeating the game too much. All right. So let's take care of these archers here. So after we kind of designed the spells on Lichdom's dev day, we also got an opportunity to talk to a game journalist. Forgive me because I forgot his name and the outlet that he wrote for. I will put it in annotation once I learn about that a little bit more. But we got to talk to him. It was mostly about the early access programs on Steam and how we felt about it. We got crowd control by a witch, so let's kind of put ourselves in a better position here. We haven't actually done any sigil upgrades yet because I've been really busy talking about the game and commentating this game and all that stuff, so I probably should do that. I'll probably do it off camera. This is really just to show you what this game is capable of right now. Oh, cool! Something I'm kind of learning. I think... Oh, wait, I could be wrong. Okay, never mind. I thought that little pillar actually damaged the mobs, but it looks like it doesn't. We gotta take care of this witch. He is gonna be our biggest issue here. So we're gonna try and combo our blink AoE with some targeting blast as well. That's definitely one of the new strategies that's gonna be possible with the new update, which is actually kind of cool. But yeah, after talking to the game journalists, Michael and a few of the other devs came with us during a supper at a really fancy steakhouse in Atlanta. I forget the name of it, but I can assure you it was a very expensive meal. It was a very expensive meal, and it was delicious. Best steak I had for a long, long time. And I used to work at the Keg, so there is that. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff. We got legendary sigils. My god, once I actually get into the crafting, I'm going to be uber powerful. They actually changed some of the crafting as well, but I'll throw all the update videos, or not videos, but all the update notes in the description as a link, so you guys can check that out in more detail. But anyways, back to Lichdom Day or not Lichdom Day, Dev Day at Xaviant. It was a really good time. I got to meet some amazing people. I learned a whole bunch of stuff. I ate a delicious steak and delicious burgers. I got to talk to the devs about my thoughts on not just Lichdom, but in gaming in general, which is pretty awesome. And I got to talk to some of the community members about the same thing. We had nice long discussions about that, and I've definitely learned a lot, not just from the developers, but from the other community members as well. And not just about Lichdom, but also just gaming in general. Just to see what they're playing and their thoughts about the games industry and all that stuff. So that was really, really awesome. It was a very, very, very good experience. I've learned a lot. I had a fantastic time. I can't be more appreciative of what Xaviant has done for us as a community. These guys are genuine developers who truly have a passion for game design, for Lichdom, and for their player base as well, which is fantastic to see. I really got the sense that, you know, they weren't just doing it for the sake of PR. They really wanted first-hand feedback from the more active community members of the game, which is fantastic. Not a lot of developers is willing to spend the amounts of money that they did on us, or put together such an event just for the sake of feedback. So hats off to Xaviant, fantastic studio, headed off by fantastic people. I have nothing but utter excitement for the future projects as well as the future of Lichdom. I certainly will be, you know, trying to support them as much as possible, especially considering what they've done for me and all that stuff. They give me a free trip to Atlanta. That's pretty awesome. But don't worry, as my audience, as you know, any audience of mine might be watching, they didn't buy and pay me off. I'm not going to go easy on them by any means. If I see flaws or issues or any kind of bugs, you know, you can rest assured that I will mention them, and I will continue to break Lichdom in any other game I come across as much as possible. That is something I just generally enjoy anyway. So, you know, I don't think they would want me to change how I feel about the game based on favors anyways. I don't think that was their goal. In fact, I know that's not their goal. I'm pretty sure they want me to continue with honest commentary and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, guys, that was a lot of fun. If the guys from Xaviant is still watching this video, huge thank you and hats off to you guys. Absolutely fantastic. It was one of the better experiences of my life for sure. Meeting you guys, and as in the Xaviant team, and meeting the community members, it was absolutely fantastic. I had such a great time. I really, really did. Definitely one of the highlights of my year, I have to say. Definitely one of the highlights of my year. I haven't actually had a very good year, so this was a nice little surprise. It definitely lifted my spirits a little bit, so I definitely appreciate that. It's been very rewarding to be able to participate in something like that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to drag this video on any longer. I know it's already been pretty long. I'll post the update notes for the new build, as well as some links to the Lichdom Day, such as the Twitch video, and I'll post a few community member resources as well from Dev Day as well. So check out the description for the appropriate links and all that. So that's enough from me, guys. I've yabbered on long enough. So if you guys enjoyed this and all that stuff, you know, show me some love, like, share, fave, and comment. But most importantly, please subscribe if you haven't already. Help me grow and feed me my vegetables. Thanks for watching, guys. All the shout outs.